Upgrade your classic game room to CGR Hyper Mark III. Classic Game Room presents Magnum Skywolf, the helicopter action comic strip, now on Patreon. Banished from Earth, Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. How do they fit so many giant robots onto one tiny game cartridge? Let's find out. It's Gundam Breaker on the Vita. I like to destroy things with giant robots. On the go, this is Gundam Breaker for the PS Vita. You can also get this for the PlayStation 3. You might want to do that instead. I'll tell you why a bit later in the review, but let's get started by creating massive explosions with Gundam mobile suits, because it's awesome. After I decapitate one of them, of course. This isn't a storyline-driven game. Gundam Breaker lives in this fictional, virtual reality universe where you're piloting virtual Gundams and virtual battles. And I'm laughing inside because I just listened to that take as I was editing and realized I said fictional, like any of this was real to begin with. It's like fiction within the Gundam universe. Although maybe you believe it is real, in which case, hey, good for you. I hear there's a life-size one of these things in Japan. This level's great. We're fighting on a table filled with Gundam model kits. And now we're fighting on the PlayStation TV, which I'm using to record some of this gameplay, but not all, because you still need the touchscreen for one important feature. The Awakening. Notice that bar on the bottom in the middle that sort of fills up slowly and eventually turns red? That awakens your Gundam, where it goes all Super Saiyan and starts slaughtering everything with a huge flamey laser sword. It's your special move. And you'll want it, because this game starts off easy and then will just hand you your robot ass. Now, some people have told me you can use the PlayStation 4 controller with the PS TV to mimic some of the Vita's touchscreen controls. I haven't found that to be true. But it's irrelevant because this game is also on PlayStation 3, so if you're going to play it on your big TV, just get the PS3 version. If you're going to play it on the go, go with the Vita version. It's great. Looks good, plays well, sounds good. It's tons of fun. Gundam Breaker can best be described as Dynasty Warriors with a bit more complexity. At its core, this is a hack and slash game, but in addition to the gameplay, the emphasis here is on collecting Gundam parts that you can mix and match together to create your very own custom mobile suit design. In pretty much any way you see fit, there's different heads, arms, legs, bodies, backpacks, weapons, sub-weapons, items, special attacks, and more. Fans of the series should absolutely love this. If you're not that familiar with the series, but you think this looks cool and you like games like Dynasty Warriors, you'll absolutely love this. It's a hack and slash game, yes, there's a lot of collecting and grinding, yes, but it's also worthwhile because it's fun, and there's more strategy required to get through some of the harder levels than you might think just by watching the footage here. Gundam Breaker takes it easy on you when you start playing for the first couple levels. You'll collect a lot of crappy robot parts, start putting them together to build your Gundam, and you'll collect a couple that you can't use yet until you level up. Like the really cool high-end robot parts, you'll need to be a high level to use them, but it's so worth it. Gundam Breaker is nothing fancy, it's just good, flashy fun. There's a couple other touchscreen commands when playing with the PS Vita. There's a lock-on, lock-off button on the bottom right. When you toggle that on or off, it'll lock on to enemies, which is good if you're shooting at them from a distance. When the battles get really busy, I find it's best to turn that off so you don't lock on to an enemy you don't mean to and then miss the ones right next to you. The only disappointing thing about Gundam Breaker is that when you start playing the game, it takes several hours before you unlock the awakening button, so it seems like it'll work on your PlayStation TV, but actually it doesn't. Unless there's some way to do it that I don't know about. I searched online, couldn't find anything. If you create a certain Gundam that you like, you can save it, and while there's a language barrier when digging through the menus, they're fairly intuitive, so it's not that hard to figure out. I believe there's some multiplayer options, but I really didn't get a chance to play with them, and I'm just now diving into the Gundam series. There's obviously a lot of different Gundam series, starting with the original, going through Gundam Wing. So I'm learning about these things, but I'm not the expert, so I really can't tell you what mobile suits are in the game beyond what you're watching here. There's a nice variety of mission types, everything from your standard attack mission like this, where you just go in and kill everything. Frequently you'll fight a giant end boss. There's survival missions, capture enemy beacon missions, which are pretty tough. And since there's no storyline to play through, the objective is really to collect everything that you can. When you lose a mission, or when you get killed in a mission and respawn, you then lose some of the items that you've collected during that mission. So far, this is my favorite guy. He reminds me of Jetfire with a unicorn horn, because why not? I've got a classic game room shout out and thank you to send to my man Dave from Oakland, California. Once again, thank you, Dave, for sending Gundam Breaker and a little game called Steel Battalion to the show. Dave builds Steel Battalion sets, by the way. Like a Steel Battalion sensory deprivation VR chamber thing. Dave, I won't be impressed until you build a fully working Gundam. And when you do figure that out, since it seems like you're pretty good at this stuff, can you make me a transforming cassette player with a bad attitude? That grows like 50 times its size when it's in robot form, of course. Gundam Breaker is super fun, it's highly addictive, it plays well, it looks great. If you think it looks cool on screen, it is. Get this. Thank you for watching. Follow Classic Game Room on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Don't miss Magnum Skywolf, also on Patreon. Welcome to the club. It's the Lord Carnage Club, where I give thanks to these backers on Patreon. Starting with Jim Moriarty, Sergio Matthias Hergert, Zach Brenner, yeah! Jason from Kamloops, British Columbia, Busy Signal! Yeah! Woo! Shadow Minion 4, Lord Carnage, Al Stiver, Sean Zoltek. Nah, I'm just kidding. Sean Zoltek! Stephen Chucknick from New Jersey, Landon Ellerby, so Lando, Philip Straubenmuller of Vienna, Austria, Jack Stavros from Australia, Ohad Kane, Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Briar, Rick, DeBarros, Will, Kid Shuriken, and Chip Sinkbale. See you next time on Classic Game Room. Mark 3!